Om Namo Bhagavate Ramakrishnaya. For seekers of God, spiritual talks of Mahapurush Swami Shivananda. Continuation of chapter 78, page number 214, episode 181. Mahapurush Maharaj Ji speaks about the food, his advice to the married, and he says that the master is the self. We have to weep for God. Continuation of chapter 78. The devotee. Father, I have a question to ask. The scriptures declare that one cannot realize God unless one observes strict brahmacharya continence. The mind does not become pure unless there is brahmacharya. Now please tell me how I can observe this. Should I be very strict about food and such other things? Mahapurush Ji. No, my daughter, you need not be very strict about these matters. Only use your discrimination a little more when following the usual routine. Only use your discrimination a little more when following the usual routine. You may well avoid those things that excite the nerves too much. Food is not meant for the mere gratification of the sense of taste. It is meant for the maintenance of the body, and the maintenance of the body is meant for God realization. It is better to avoid those kinds of food that create mental disturbance and prevent the mind from concentrating on God. Brahmacharya does not mean the mere control of food. The real brahmacharya is the control of all the sense organs. Unless one can do that, the realization of divine bliss is a far cry. Is it possible to get the bliss of Brahman unless one can forsake the pleasures of this trifling body? You are in the householder's stage of life. The Master, Sri Ramakrishna, has made the path of God realization easy for householders. Sri Ramakrishna used to say that after the birth of 2 or 3 children, a virtuous couple should live like brother and sister. They should forget their physical relationship and talk about God as though they were both servants of God. Mahapurush Maharaj Ji continues, life is not meant for the pleasure of the body. Realization of God alone is the goal of life. Now that you have attained this rare human birth, do not allow your life to be spent in vain. Realize the nature of the self. The Master, Sri Ramakrishna, is your inmost self. Try to realize him. Sri Ramakrishna is not just a man 3.5 cubits in length. Sri Ramakrishna is God himself. Sri Ramakrishna is the very self of all creatures. Once you can realize Sri Ramakrishna, your worldly bondage will be cut asunder forever. You will not have to undergo the round of birth and death anymore. The Gita says, that is my supreme abode, going whither they return not. Realize that supreme being, and then you will be free from this delusion of birth and death, my child. Then only will you attain the highest state. It is only by realizing Him, by realizing God, that one gets rid of all passions and desires, attains fullness, and becomes the self itself. Having obtained which, a man regards no other acquisition as superior to that. The devotee. How shall I be able to realize him? How shall I be able to realize God, Sri Ramakrishna? Mahapurush Maharaj, Sri Ramakrishna used to say, God can be realized when all the 3 types of longing become united in one. The longing of a chaste wife for a husband, the affection of the mother for a child, and the attachment of a miser to his wealth. If one can combine all these three kinds of longing into one and direct it to God, then God can be realized. Call on Him, repeat His name, meditate on Him, and pray to Him with the sincerest earnestness. Say, Lord, kindly reveal yourself to me, reveal yourself to me, and weep, weep, weep disconsolately. Then only He will be moved and grant you the vision of Himself. For He is very mindful of those who take refuge in Him. He never forsakes one to whom He has once granted refuge. He never forsakes one to whom He has once granted refuge. That is the end of chapter 78. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.